What's up, you guys? Happy Friday before the new year, you guys. Happy last Friday of the month. I am elated to have Miss Beasley next to me. I am so
What about me?
doing with you all day. All right, I'm happy to have you next to me, babe. Um, y'all, I need y'all to share this in your feed, share this with your friends. Let's get off the sideline. We are literally today is the last business day of the year. What are we doing for 2024? Like, what does 2024 look like? Are we making excuses the first day in 2024, or are we really getting into business? Do we really have a plan set out? What are we doing? All right. I want to know what we're doing today. Let's do it.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Listen, it's Keith Everett, Real Estate Diddy. I'm right here at the Simple Sexy Flipping Conference. I gave 10 ways on how to find off-market properties. If you're somebody who's trying to learn how to use the bank, find private money lenders, and knowing how you can fund the properties, you need to be here.
I would definitely recommend this event to anybody, especially if you're looking to get started in this business, because sometimes you just don't know where to go, and sometimes you don't know how to get started. And sometimes it could be the reverse. You got the motivation, but you don't have the education, or you have the education, you don't have the motivation. So sometimes it's being in certain rooms with certain people that'll kind of uplift you or inspire you or get you moving, get you thinking. But more importantly, this is the kind of room you want to be in, especially if you're a newbie.
Let's go. How's everyone doing today? Y'all type in the chat. Let me know how you're doing today. Let me know what's good. Are you excited about this new year? 2024 it's here. It's not right around the corner. It's like really, really here. You ready for 2024?
I'm ready.
Let's go. You ready for 2024?
I'm in the game.
Nope.
You not ready?
Nope.
What's stopping you from being ready, Tanya?
You doing stuff I don't normally do?
That has nothing to do with 2024. All right. You ready?
I might be ready now.
You should be telling me thank you.
I don't know about that, but okay.
That's okay.
Let's go.
Hey,
Who we got in the
Adrian.
building? How y'all doing? We woke up this morning and was like, what are we gonna do with these kids? Because everybody know we got a lot of kids. 5 to be exact. One of them is at work in Prattville. The other 4 was their parents. So
Not technically.
not technically.
Not right now.
So on Wednesday, I didn't come. And I was like, Ashley, you can handle it by yourself. It's Rowdy. Go and handle it. I'll just be daddy daycare.
He knows Rowdy's my best friend.
But today I said, I'm coming for Beasley. We're going to have to figure something else out. I'm coming for Beasley today. We got to do something different. So just know if you hear a kid knock on the door, you hear something go boom or pop, everybody's okay.
It's our kids. Just be ready.
We just got the two little ones next door. One of them building a pizza shop, the other one watching Peppa Pig. All right. So just be aware. All right. So Ashley, I'm gonna hand it back over to you as our gracious leader.
I don't like it when you do that. I don't want to be the leader. I want to be a follower. Welcome. Because what we didn't say is I'm Ashley Denmark.
And I'm Antonio Denmark.
This Fearless Investing podcast is really to help you get off the sideline and get into the game, help you navigate through those fears, help you understand your fears, help you understand that the fears that you have, they're real, but they can be overcome. They can be accomplished. People who look like you, talk like you, have accomplished the same goals that you're trying to accomplish.
Have the same challenges that you have.
Absolutely. And they've taken that fear, pushed it to the side, and said, all I want to do is win. So that's what the Fearless Investing podcast is about. That's what it's for. It's to overcome your fear, overcome that adversity, and really push you to the greatness that you really have in you.
That was kind of good, Greg. You know, every blue moon, you come out one of them like that was like all we do is win. That was nice.
It made you want to sing.
Yeah, you know, I got crunk. You know that touches my spirit. Going, I'm so sorry, baby.
All right, let's jump into it. Let's start off with saying, who is Theressa Beasley? Tell me who you are.
You know what? I was thinking about this question about who I was, and you know, the first thing I want to say that I am a believer. First, I am a believer, and I think that is makes up who I really am on the inside. You know, because with being a believer, you have to have a good heart. You know, and help people. You know, have that drive and that motivation to help people. You know, and it rings in my spirit each time that, you know, I think about that, and what stands that you have to be have God bigger than the people, because people can disappoint you at times.
Ooh, people will disappoint you.
And it's not their fault.
It's not their fault. They're just being human. They're just being themselves, you know, just like, you know, I may have disappointed people. But I'm a believer, and that's the number one thing that I would say who I am.
Absolutely.
What's your background? Where are you originally from? Are you originally from Alabama?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
I'm not from Alabama. I'm a Michigander at heart. I was born and raised in Michigan, the capital, Lansing, and then I moved to an area near the Detroit area called Belleville, Michigan. And I've been here for a year. So I was born and raised in Michigan. I love Michigan. I miss it so much. I miss Michigan. I really do. And would go back home anytime. But I came here because my mom is here. I came here to assist her because she's not doing well. She's sick. And I want to come here and be that daughter to take care of her mother. But while I'm here, I ain't gonna let nothing stop me.
Okay.
That's right.
You know, so I said to myself, what can I do in the midst of adversities? What can you do to push forward? You know, so I was like, okay, let me get in the game.
Let me get in the
midst of adversity.
In the midst of adversities, because it's hard. It's hard being a caretaker.
Absolutely.
You know, primary one to take care of your mom. It's very, very difficult at times. But I'm not gonna sit here and while when I was younger, I used to have a lot of pity parties. And I would stay in those pity parties for days. I could say months, pity parties. But I was like, what is the purpose of staying in a pity party? Woe is me. You know, I need to get up and move and not stay there. So I don't let pity parties get in my mind, you know, like woe is me kind of things. I just move forward.
That was a word itself.
Absolutely.
A word.
I want to dig into it real quick, but I don't want to spend too long on it. But at what age did you realize, why am I giving this pity party attention when I could really be executing?
Oh my goodness. I was probably in my 30s.
Ooh.
I wasted a lot of time. I wasted a whole bunch of time. Yep. Pity parties, woe me parties.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
So,
Because I get it too sometimes.
Yeah.
I have my own.
It's not worth it. It's just not worth it, because you waste too much time with, why is this happening to me?
so I'm gonna go on the limb. Most times when we get into our pity parties, we all do it sometime
Absolutely.
from time to time, depending on the situation. Usually there is something you're listening to, there's someone in your ear, there's some pastor you're listening to that helps you get out of those type of things. Who was that one or two people that was in your ear?
So my pity parties were a little different.
Okay.
So I closed up and went to myself. So I was having by myself.
That's the hardest ones to get out.
I remember locking up. I had something that happened in my life, and I can remember locking up for days in my house. And I went in. I went in and I shut the door and closed the blinds. And I didn't want to talk to nobody. Didn't answer the phone. Didn't do nothing. Didn't want to talk to nobody. And I had a pity party, blowing out pity party, until it was like, I believe God shook me. He was like, what are you doing? Get up from there. Why are you having this pity party? And I went to the scripture and I began to read, what the Bible says about me and who I am, the promises that I have for me. And I was like, you know what? This ain't worth it. It's not worth it. It really isn't. I brushed myself off. You can listen to, of course, I'm probably having these thoughts in my mind about what people said to me or whatever, but I was having it with myself, by myself.
That's deep.
Absolutely.
That's
and
deep.
So I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. And I think when we get in those situations, we feel like we're the only one that's going through it. Nobody else will understand what we're going through. And it's really designed for us to shut ourselves off from everyone, because we feel like we're not great enough. Everything is messing up. So I'm here to tell you, if you ever go through it again,
oh no,
don't. And anyone who don't shut yourself off from the world, because literally it is designed to keep you away from everything, keep you away from everyone, so that you can stay. I know personally, when I've had them, my best friend was like, oh, you looking like you're doing so good. And I'm like, that's not me. That's Yasmin. Yasmin is on my social media. Yasmin has my phone. Yasmin is posting. I am not posting. I have been locked up in the room for months. So when I say I understand, exactly, I've been there. I've been there quite a few times. So if that's stopping you, understand that it's okay to talk to people. It's okay to lean on people. Don't feel like you're a burden to anyone, because they want you to lean on them. They want you to get out of that. You are more productive. You are more useful to society, to your family, when you are out of that position. But the only way to get out is to reach out, to lean on God for his own understanding, not yours. And just escape. Allow yourself to escape out of it and not into it.
Amen.
Shout out to my auntie out of Atlanta. Let's go, auntie. We're gonna go off of that for a second. But one thing I would say is, for me, I have always had a good bounce back. And to my core, to my soul, I believe that all things are happening for my good. And once you truly believe that and you understand that, and you might not see it right now.
You usually don't see it right
The worst things are happening, and you might not understand it. You might not be able to process it because it's bigger than you. But truly believe that all things are happening for your good. And at some point in the future, you're going to look back at that situation and be like, oh,
now I understand.
That's why I went through that.
Yes.
That's why that person let me down. That's why I had to struggle because something else was coming down the line. Somebody else needed to hear this testimony. Somebody else needed to hear this story that I got. It wasn't for me. So understand that whenever you're going through it, all things are happening for your good. And if you look at it that way, eventually you will see the good in the negative things that happen.
Absolutely. Because there's always that one negative thing. There's like millions of other positive things that's going on in your life, but you're just stuck on that one negative thing. And it's stopping you from being grateful and showing gratitude. So the million other positive things that's happening, you woke up, you can walk, like you're breathing. There's some people that can't. There's some people that can't walk. So we look at that one situation sometimes and we're just like, oh, it's the worst thing on earth. It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's nowhere near.
It's not.
It's nowhere near.
So I want to ask about your parents, Ms. Bees. Like,
Yeah.
were they entrepreneurs? Did they have 9 to 5? What was it like growing up?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so so I was raised in a single parent home. So my mother and father they divorced, but they separated when I was in, I think, 7th grade. I was really going through something in the 7th grade. I threw a chair at the teacher and everything.
Not you.
Yes, me. But I was really going through some stuff in the 7th grade, I remember. But so my parents divorced when I was in the 7th grade. And so my mom was a school bus driver. My dad worked for GM, but my dad had several rental properties along with my uncle. They came from, they migrated from Mississippi up north to work for the plant, both of them. So after they got up north, they started getting rental properties and stuff like that. I mean, my uncle, he had like 30 rental properties.
Wow.
Yeah. And but they never taught us the business. Never. Like, I can remember going into a house my dad bought, and the house was a total disaster. I'm talking about total. He still lives in the house today. Total disaster. I'm like, why would you buy this? That's what I said to my dad. Like, oh, I understand now. Why he bought it. But back then, I didn't understand. But he wanted us to help him clean up the stuff. It's like, no, I don't want to clean up the house. He would pay us a little thing, write us a check. And I didn't know he was writing us checks and then writing it off, so he had down at the bottom. It was crazy.
What he put at the bottom?
He would put at the bottom the property address.
Because that's all property.
All of our Christmas gifts and everything like that. Like, if he wrote us a check, it would always have the property address down at the bottom of the check. He was writing off Christmas gifts.
Oh my God.
He was writing off, anything that we would do over at the house. Even if we picked up a piece of paper, he would write us like a $20 check or a $50 check, and he would put the property address down at the bottom of the check. Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah. But he still has rental. My dad still has rental properties today. And so now, and I was telling Ashley a couple of weeks ago that I really believe, this is just my thought, and I could be wrong, but I really believe that my dad wished that my brothers would be into real estate versus me. Because it's stuff
they're the boys.
It's the boys,
And because just thinking back, how old is your dad?
My dad is 79.
Yeah. So in his mind, only men did real estate. Like, only men bought real estate. It's hard for women to really get into real estate, like big real estate. Yeah, you might have a few properties, but like when I go to these conventions, when I go to masterminds, they're like heavily filled with men. I'm usually the only one in the room. And it's just like so funny. Sometimes Tonio won't go and I'm going and I'm like the only woman in the room. And I'm like, I know there's more women that does real estate than me.
Yeah.
But it's heavy when it comes to men. And I can see him saying like, this is something I want to do with my boys. Because men are legacy builders.
Right.
So their goal, their job is to always create a legacy for their family. And the men do that. the women don't necessarily do that or didn't do that. So
Right. Yeah.
probably not intentionally, but that was just that era and that time to where, like Gabrielle just said, now women are really making waves in
They
real
are.
estate now.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
One thing I want to go back to is, and some people gonna understand it, some people not. And just listen to it. If you're not there, you will get there. Understand that there's two phases to money. All right. There's one phase where you're gonna make money. You're gonna try to make a lot of money. All right. That's kind of that entry level into money. You're gonna make 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, $1 million a year. But understand that there's another phase to money, and it's about keeping your money.
Yeah.
All right. So understand that the IRS is set up to take your money if you don't understand it. So you can go out there and make all this money, but if you're not keeping the money, you're really working backwards.
You're really not making any money.
Understand, before you start making a lot of money, start looking at things like writing checks to my kids. Start looking at things like depreciation. Start looking at things like interest payments. These things offset your taxes.
Because a lot of people want to buy a house cash, but they don't understand that those interest payments is really what's helping you when it comes to your taxes.
So I don't go down that road, but just understand that it doesn't do you any good to make a lot of money if you're going to have to pay half of it to Uncle Sam. All right. So start being forward thinkers and looking into those things before you start making money so you can be properly set up when it's time.
I think it was Kevin Hart that said it in one of his stand-ups where he was making all of this money and then the tax bill came around. He was like, well, I already spent this money.
Money gone.
What you mean I owe you $250,000? I don't have that. And they don't want a payment plan at $250. Like they want more. So
yeah, just a side note, something to think about, something to keep in the back of your mind, that taxes are real. And if you don't be on it, it can really mess up everything you built.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Dad was an entrepreneur.
And
he also worked for GM.
And he worked for GM and entrepreneur his entire time until he retired. Yep. He was 60, I think like 65, 62, 65.
Dad had to be a smart man because logic says that GM's not paying you enough to have rental properties.
Absolutely. He's very, very intelligent when it comes to finances and things like that. He's always talked about using other people's money. He don't use his own money. He don't use his own money for nothing. He's always talked about using other people's money, even before I even heard of using other people's money. He's always talked about it. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by using other people's money? You use other people's money. I'm like, and and I was talking to him a couple days ago, and he was talking about, well, my credit score is 830 or 20 or something like that. I'm like, credit score 800. I'm like, I'm trying to get there. I'm like 750 or something like that. But can I get to 8? Can I just cross over to 800? Yeah, but he's always used other people's money. I can remember, working for the bank. I mean, when I was back in Michigan, he would get home equity loans and he would buy his cars with his home equity loans and buy his houses with home equity loans and things like that. And I still didn't catch on to what he was really doing, because I'm like, trying to work for somebody else, with that mindset, trying to work for somebody else. Because that's one of the things my parents taught us is that, one of the things was you go to college, you get your degree, because they didn't have their degrees, so you get your degree and then you go work for somebody. And he wouldn't let us work for the plant. So none of us worked for the plant. He would not let us come and work for the plant because in Michigan, that's the middle class.
Yeah.
So, a lot of families made, you made a lot of money working for the plant, but he did not encourage us to do that. So we couldn't work for the plant. We had to go out and get our degrees. I don't know about the degree thing. I had to do it all over again. I probably wouldn't get a degree. I probably wouldn't get my master's. I probably would have my bachelor's degree, but I probably would have more of a skill set versus just getting it in psychology. I probably would have got it in something like engineering or nursing or something of that nature,
Mhm.
but not getting in just the basic degree. Now, what I'm gonna do with a psychology degree?
It's a funny thing that you say that. I hope my brother's watching it because he probably trying to figure out the same thing
Yeah,
as he's in his last semester of school.
With a psychology degree, pay back your student loans, and then don't have a job that's gonna be able to afford you to pay back your student loans. I have tons of student loans right now. So, I mean, I'm figuring out whether or not Biden's gonna say, let's erase them for everybody, because that's what I'm praying, Lord. Let them erase them for everybody, because it is a scam, because you pay all that interest. Now, I walked out of undergrad with $28,000 worth of student loans.
That wasn't bad. That was like
That was cool, right? I could do that. I could pay for that. But when I walked out of graduate school, my undergrad loans was $88,000.
Ooh.
What is
What kind of math?
because that was interest. They tell you they capitalize on the interest on those things, on those loans. You know, unsubsidized and subsidized loans.
And you don't know the
You
difference
don't
when
you
you're in
don't know
school.
the difference. You just say, I'm gonna cross that bridge when I get out of school. You know, I have 2 degrees, you know, and
I can be able to afford whatever it is.
whatever it is, right? And then when you get out of college, us being who we are, we're not afforded the same thing in corporate America as our counterparts. So I walk out with a master's degree, not saying that my master's degree is in counseling, but I still walk out a master's degree. And when I went to go get a job, they was like $35,000 a year. I said, what? A year? What? Still loans at $35,000 a year. I was working for the bank, making at that particular time, I think like $50,000 with my bonuses.
You just touched on something that I completely forgot about when I was working at the bank. And I came out fresh out of college. And when I came out as administrative assistant, basically is what an admin assistant. Then they promoted me up to a team lead. But there were people on my team as I was the team leader, and they were making more money than me. And I had to tell them what to do. And they said, there's only so much we can increase you because you started off so low. Like,
Absolutely.
It's not fair. It's not right. And then the people who I was telling what to do that made more money than me, they want to do less work. And I'm getting mad like, I'm up here trained. I'm teaching you. I'm being held accountable for you. And you don't even want to do any work. And you making more money than me.
Yes.
Talking about, oh, well, she the boss. She can do it. No, you make the most money. You can do it. But
Chronicles, huh?
right. But that's a part of corporate America coming out fresh out. You're not going to make the same money no matter how many letters and degrees you got behind your name, especially young, as someone else who has been there for years. Like, you got to play catch up before you can get there. And they don't tell you that when you get there. They just give you a title and you're supposed to feel good with that title.
And you know, it took me and that's the difference. So we in this real estate game, right? It may take you maybe a year, maybe a couple years to make it to 100,000. You know how long it took me to make it to 100,000 in the bank?
How many? But I think that's important because
I just started making 100,000 about 3 years ago.
Wow. How many years you been in banking?
34 years.
that's real.
It's real. And so the thing about it is, in there, you're gonna work for that 100. You're gonna work for that 100
Around the clock.
Yeah, you're going to work for it. So you know, and it's like, and I was praying for that. I was praying, like, Lord, just let me get in $100,000 club. I just want to get in $100,000 club. That was my goal. You know, I just want to make $100,000.
And he answers your prayers because you put it out and you asked him for it.
Asked him for it, right? And that's what I made, like 100. Like when I got my salary increase, it was like 101. Got my increase like $101,000. I was like, wait a minute here. I mean, how am I gonna stay in this? How am I gonna stay? And I'm talking about I want to be a millionaire, not just because I want to be a millionaire, just to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire because I really want to help people, right? And so I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Because I cannot do this working in this corporate America, because there's only so far that I'm going to go, because my mouth is too loose to be at the corporate table. Exactly. I mean, to be at the table with those VPs. I mean, I'm a director. Those VPs, SVPs, my mouth is too loose. You know, I just can't help it. I just say stuff that needs to be said, but nobody else will say it at the table. And I will say that thing, and I'll be blackballed. And
you know, those quiet moments, like,
yes, it's like, should I say it? Should I say it? Should I say it? I'm gonna say it. You know, I say it, and I'm like, you look at me like, did she just say that?
Did she just say that?
Yes, I said it. So there's only so far you're gonna go into. I mean, unless you know somebody, like really know somebody to get you. Most people that are in high places in corporate America, you know somebody, and you probably know somebody.
Sounds good. Okay, so I know that Miss Bees is a part of X Triple family. How long have you been a part of X Triple family?
So I joined March 27th, I believe it was, 2023.
Wow.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was really crazy, because I had been searching for mentors here in Alabama, because I had been doing a lot of master classes all over the place. You know, like, you know, how can I learn this game? You know, I had this person back in Michigan, and she was just a little like shady, and I was like a little shady, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can work with her, because I can't be shady in this game, you know. And so I was I got an invite from like a Facebook invite to Denmark. What's the Denmarks? I don't know these people. Why are they sending me an invite? Because I have no idea who the Denmarks are, right? And then, you know, my family is around here, but I didn't ask my family, like, you guys know the Denmarks or whatever, because my thing is, if I'm gonna get to know somebody, I'm gonna get to know for myself. I don't want nobody else influencing me. Girl, I don't like to, you know, I don't want none of that. I want to know somebody for myself. So it came across, and I was like, I put it like, you know how you have to confirm the person request, and I wouldn't confirm the request because I didn't know y'all. I'm like, I don't know who they are, but every now and then y'all pop up on my thing. I'm like, who is the Denmarks? Like, why they keep on popping up in my Facebook feed? Because I have no idea who they are, but they say they're in real estate, so maybe I need to join one of these free master classes that they're doing. So I think it was a Thursday, they did a master class in the middle of the day. So I was at home, and I was like, I'm just go ahead and join a master class, see what they talking about. They probably ain't talking about nothing. Probably about the same thing that the people be talking about on all these other master classes. This is what I'm saying to myself. I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and see what they got to say. And so I was on the master class, and Ashley shared her testimony about being at work and being called to the table. And I've been called to the table several times where I've lost my job. You know, like I lost my job in the industry, the banking industry. And so she shared her testimony, and I'm like, man, that's my testimony right there. I said, she ain't said nothing but my testimony. I said, that could be me like 2 weeks from now. And I said, I'll never ever again be caught with my pants down. That's what I said to myself. I said, never ever would I allow them to catch me with my pants down. If I walk away, it's gonna be about my. It's gonna be because I want to walk away, not because you telling me that I got to go. I'm gonna walk away because I want to walk away. And so when they said the amount, I was like, wait a minute, I don't know about this. The Lord said, do it. I said, I don't know. That's a lot of money. Oh my God, that's a lot of money. And I said to myself, okay, I just got this got approved for a $30,000 credit card from Navy Federal. They had just approved me not too long ago. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll just put it on this credit card. And that's what I did. I put it on a credit card, and it's been the biggest blessing of my life ever since. Like the biggest blessing of my life. I said, well, now I'll go in there and I'll confirm them as my friends.
And we did not know because your name wasn't the name that you purchased it. So we was like, who is this person? Have you ever met them? Because we can kind of feel like, okay, who's going to be potential students based on how engaged they are. Like you came out of nowhere. We invited you one time to REI Live. I think you said something like, yeah, I'm interested, but I ain't got time. And I think Tonya came back with a smart comment like, well, you got to make time for the things that that you really want to do. And then all of a sudden, you showed up on the master class and we got the dean saying you was a student. It was like, well, but maybe it's this person. Maybe it's this person. What the phone number say? What's your Eric on your phone number?
517.
Threw us off completely. So we like, well, we reached out to our Detroit student. Like, do you know this person by chance? No, okay.
Yeah.
So it was
it's the Lord's doing. It Absolutely. Was God. It was really, I mean, for me, this has been more of a spiritual journey for me because it's like God is ordering my steps on which way he wants me to go because I'm retiring in 5 years from the industry.
Amen.
From the banking industry. Now I'm not going to stop working because I'm going to always be doing something.
Absolutely.
You know, but as far as the industry, the banking industry, I will be out by 5 years or less. I'll be out. I'll be done. Do not say nothing to me about going to nobody's bank. Do not call me nothing about going to anybody's bank. I am not going to do it. I'm not working for nobody else. I'm not.
Absolutely.
Oof. Me, myself, and I. Okay, and some people that I can bring along with me. But as far as me punching somebody else's clock, I'm not answering to nobody else. I'm not going to do it. But God, I'm just not going to do it.
I think it was 30 days in. We ended up being at an event. And we just told, like, probably the day of the event, told some of our students, well, we told our students in the group, we was like, hey, if anybody got time, we're going to be at such and such event. I think it was the Realtors event. We're going to be at the Realtors event. If any of you are free, just come out and hang out with us. That was our first time seeing Ms. Beasley. Yeah. Now, we had talked on the phone. We had did a strategy session, but we hadn't been around her. We hadn't seen her. We didn't know how she looked really in person. And I remember she called us over, and it was a little under 30 days of you being in the mentorship.
Yeah, it was.
And she was like, I just want to let you know that I moved out my house.
Mm-hmm.
I rented my house.
Yeah.
I moved into my mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
What was your cash flow? I know you're making more now. What was your cash flow then when you moved out of your house in 30 days?
So I had my mortgage was $687. So I was doing $1,500. Yeah. Yeah.
In 30 days.
Yeah, $1,500.
Like just from that one strategy session that we had, we hadn't even had two. It was just like the beginning strategy session. And it was so amazing to see the action that you took. And we say that with a lot of our successful students. It's the ones that take massive, imperfect actions that are the most successful, and not that try to, okay, well, the I's don't dot, the T's don't cross. No, she said, okay, you told me that my first step is to rent my house. I know I need to be with my mom. So I'm going to move out of my house, or I'm going to either move my mom into my house. That was either the way.
Yeah.
So she moved out, rented her house. $1,500, mortgage is $680.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But let me tap into some fears, because you did it. You are an action taker, but I know people that's watching are like,
I can't do that.
I can't do that. I can't find no tenant. I can't manage no tenant. I can't. There's so many fears going through them. What were some of the fears going through you, and how did you overcome them?
You know what? I've learned through this whole process that I'm a risk taker. I am definitely a risk taker. Some of the fears I think was just, I don't know. Maybe me just being a landlord, because I don't want to deal with people like that. This lady's, I mean, my tenant, she get on my nerves sometimes, but I didn't want to like be the landlord, because I do have a place up in Michigan, but that one is being managed by a property management company. So I don't think it was more fear. It's more of the time that it takes to get the stuff moved from one. It's just
I got
being
time.
lazy. I just don't have time. You know what I mean? Like moving from one point to another, and the inconvenience, and those things came into mind more so the fear of actually doing it. It's just creating the time, and because caring for a person is not easy, and I could be lazy at times, but when it's about my money, you got to get up and move.
Gotta get up and move.
Yeah.
Get up and move.
So what was that process like? That transition, like finding a tenant, moving out, moving in, like did it really take a lot of time?
No, because everything is in divine. God orders steps. It's sort of divine. Things sort of fall in place. After I had a strategy call with you all, my mom has a caregiver, and she was telling me about this couple that needed a place to live. I'm like, okay, could you bring the lady over here? Maybe I could meet with her. We could talk about it, And she brought the lady over here. The lady liked the place and everything. I said, when you want to move in? And she was like, I would like to move in on the 15th. I was like, well, today is like the 12th. It was crazy. It just happened. So it's like things just started to move in place. After we had the call, it's like you get your mind right with how things should move. Things start moving. And I think I always say it's a mind thing. Even, I've lost like 87 pounds since last year. No, 76 pounds.
Congrats on that.
Yeah. And so it's like I made in my mind, like, I got to eat better. I want to be here for the long haul. I want to be here to take care of my mom. There's certain things, I said to myself, you got to do better. So it's like you tell yourself, you got to get up and do some things, So it's like talking to myself, but talking to myself in a positive way. And because I don't have nobody to really encourage me. It's not like I have a husband. I don't have I don't have a lot of friends. I keep my circle real small. And the reason why I keep my circle real small is because when you have too many people around you, people create more negativity. The more people you have around you, you tend to have more negativity around you, because people are going to add their input. Like, this nothing. You know what I mean? Did I ask for your input?
Ooh. So I'm gonna go on the soapbox for like 2 minutes. All right.
Okay.
Bring me back to real estate. All right.
Okay.
First thing I want to say is it all starts with your mind.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't done real estate yet, and it's gonna hurt, y'all. People that listen to it that haven't done it yet, because your mind isn't right. It's not that you don't have money. It's not that you're not around the right people. It's not that you have limited resources. It's because your mind isn't right. And people that you're around are feeding you the right stuff.
Yeah.
They're feeding you fear. They're feeding you negativity. And it hurts. And if you really sit down and look in the mirror, you will realize that that's the issue. It's your mindset. That's the first thing that we address in our program, is your mindset.
Yeah.
Because if that mindset don't change, it don't matter how much real estate you know, you're not going to take no action. Because your mind is going to hold you back. You're going to find excuses every time. You're going to find excuses to not do it.
Yeah.
Every time. So if you haven't done a deal and you really want to do a deal, work on your mindset.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
Most certainly. Like, I was listening to one of the Fearless podcasts that we did the other day, and everybody wants to know, okay, well, tell me exactly how to do it. Tell me exactly how to structure it. I can give you everything. I can give you all of my contractors. I can give you all of my connects. I can give you all of my VAs. I can give you everything that I have that I put together. But if you don't know how to use it, how to talk to them, how to adjust your mind, it's going to be useless to you. I can give you everything, but if you're not ready for it, if you haven't opened up your mind, if you haven't changed your mindset, if you're not even capable of communicating to them, they don't know what you want from them, how to do it. Like, it really starts with you.
Amen.
So
Absolutely.
people ask sometimes, like, this is soapbox, sorry. People ask sometimes, like, why do you pay for mentorships when you don't have to pay for a mentorship? You can get everything you need off of YouTube University, off of Google, off of AI, Chat GPT. You can get everything you need. But what you can't get from them is when you need to structure your plan, when you need to structure your life, because your life is different than somebody else's life. You can't call them up on the phone. You can't just pick them, show up and say, hey, I'm having this moment. I need to talk through this.
Yeah.
How do I work through this situation? You can't get that from Chat GPT. You can't get that from Google. You can't get that from YouTube University. We did a free training yesterday on marketing. Like, it was amazing. So it's not that the tools and the resources aren't out and given to you. It's more so, are you taking action? What amazed me about Miss Beasley was in 30 days, she took massive action. Like, I don't think I've had anyone to move out of their house, put a tenant in there in less than 30 days.
It was ready for step 2.
And ready for step 2. Like,
all right. So step 2 of so she had 2 things on the strategy call. The first part was, okay, she needs to get cash flow because she don't want to be caught with her pants down. That was kind of the big thing. All right. So let's start looking at cash flow. First step, okay, you maybe can get some cash flow by moving out of your house or doing your thing with your mom. Second thing was, let's get you some business funding to do some deals. So, like, she had them basically lined up the business funding part of it, everything that we told her to do, moved out of her house into her mom's house. And it was like, wow. So let's talk about step 2 of the plan.
Okay.
You told us at that time you had what credit score?
At the time, I think I had like a 720, 730, somewhere around in there.
720, 730 credit score.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we're going to get business funding. All right. There were some things we had to do beforehand, but it wasn't that hard. When you started business funding, what was your expectation? How much was you expecting to get? Just your thought, your generalized thought.
I'm thinking maybe like 80, maybe lower than that, because my business hadn't been open very long. So the business I had just started or opened that business like this same day that I came over to the Expert Flipper mentorship. So like on the 28th of March, or when I started the business.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when I actually registered and got my stuff together. Yeah, so I was still trying to like make sure. So I was thinking, oh my God, this business ain't been open long enough for me to even get any business funding. So I wouldn't even, my expectation, maybe okay, so I could say maybe like 30,000.
Maybe 30,000.
Yeah, maybe 30.
And 30,000 would have been good to start off with.
Yeah.
You could start off a good deal with 30,000.
All right. So business funding took roughly 30 days, I would just say.
Yeah.
How much did you actually end up with in business?
The first round.
The first round.
143.5. 143.5. Yeah.
We talk about this all the time, that sometimes we feel like we're in such a bad situation, but there's so much favor on our lives that we don't even know until we tap into it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be completely honest. If you have a brand new business, you're not supposed to get 140. You're not. Your range is usually between 30 and 50,000. Just in total transparency, because it's not until that 2-year mark is when lenders really start to give funding when it comes to business. When it comes to business funding, which is why most people have to get an age corporation. Which is a seasoned LLC, one that's been around. In this case, you didn't.
Nope, I didn't. No.
So,
but I think that what it is okay. So when I was back in Michigan, one of the things that I did was I started working on my credit, like back in Michigan, back in 2020, because we didn't have nothing to do, right? We didn't have nothing to do in 2020. That's like the forgotten year. That's what I say. We didn't have nothing to do because Michigan was on lockdown, real lockdown. Like y'all lockdown was different than our lockdown. It was on real lockdown. So back in that time, I was like, what can I do to make sure that if I'm going to do business, I'm good. So I started working on my credit, paying stuff off and, getting, doing stuff like that. And so when I got to Alabama, my credit was like 720. It was like 6 something, like 660 or something like that. And so I increased my score. So and now my score is like 760, 770, somewhere, depending on what you look at. But I started preparing myself back then, because I didn't know what this was gonna happen. I didn't know I was gonna be where I am. I didn't know I was gonna be working with the Denmarks or sitting in front of you guys. I had no idea.
Absolutely.
But that was something that was in my spirit that I needed to work on. So I did it. What if I wouldn't have done it?
Yes.
What if you wouldn't have done it?
Yeah.
And I remember we did a Fund Your Flip challenge, and you paid for VIP for the Fund Your Flip challenge.
Yes.
So we had a VIP private session with all the VIP members. And in that session, we started talking about how you can fund real estate using your 401ks, your Roth IRAs, and people that had money sitting aside. And I remember you told us, I got some money from my job. Was that the one in Michigan?
This was an old job that I used to work at Co-America. Yeah, in Michigan.
How long ago has it been since you worked for them?
2000 and I think 17.
Okay. So,
No. No, it's been a while. I don't know.
So you had money sitting where from them?
I had money sitting at Fidelity with them. So I had money sitting at Bank of America for my Bank of America, because I used to work for Bank of America's too. So I had money sitting over there.
So you had money sitting in 2 places?
Yeah, I had money sitting in 2 places.
Okay.
But the money I took some of the money from the Co-America, and I took some of the money from the Bank of America. Yeah.
Okay. So you told us that you was losing.
Yeah. I was losing money. So I think that one time I showed it was like 60, 68, and then I looked and it was like 65 or something like that. Yeah, it was crazy.
It was going down.
It was going down.
Wow.
So we talked about moving it to a Roth IRA, so that it would stop going, a self-directed Roth IRA, so they can stop going down, and then you can have money for investing.
Yes.
So all of these doors and opportunities are opening up with money that you had access to, but didn't even know you had access to.
Right.
Credit that you didn't even know you had access to credit.
Correct. Yes. And not only am I using the credit for my credit, I'm using my credit for trade lines too.
Ooh.
So I've made money using my credit for trade lines. Yeah.
Is there a shortage of money in this world?
It's not. And there's enough out there for everybody. So don't be mad because I'm getting a bag. Because the bag is there for you too. It's enough money out there for everybody.
Absolutely.
And I'm not gonna, that's the thing I love about the Denmarks. They're not trying to keep nothing from us. They're sharing. because there's really enough money out there
There's
for
enough
everybody to
money for
make.
everybody.
Everybody can be millionaires.
Yeah.
And the only reason why people are not millionaires is because you don't get in the game. And then when you're in the game, find your right seat to sit in.
Ooh.
Okay? Find your role. Find what you're good at. And do it. I mean, go for it. Find what you're good at. And I think that's what I want to do this because I like it or so-and-so doing it. No. Don't do it because so-and-so doing it. Get in. There's so many roles. I was telling somebody, there's so many roles in this game. I mean, you might just be the one to pass the ball, right? You might be the one that's gonna be the quarterback, and you might throw it sometimes. You might be the one that's running it and getting the touchdown. But find what you do best and get in and do it the best you can. You know what I mean?
That was a word from me.
That was a word. Yeah.
And it's like, and I think that's the thing. It's like you have to be under mentors to find out where you're good at. And then the mentor is just like we as managers, you see potential in somebody, you're like, oh my God, they're so good at so.
And they don't even see
it.
it.
But they don't be a manager. Like, you don't even know how to work with people. You don't coach people. You don't know how to coach nobody, okay? I mean, I ask you, okay, did you do start, stop, and continue? You're like, what's start, stop, and continue? Did you do the 5 whys? What's 5 whys? You don't need to be managing nobody. Just pass the ball. Just sit in your seat and do your job. And I think that's what happens. That when we're in this entrepreneur game, find out what you're good at and really hone into it and do it to the best that you could do it at. Don't do my job. I'm doing my job just fine.
Because it looks easy, like from the spectator role.
Y'all make y'all job look easy. You know what I mean? I mean, you make it really look easy. But it's like everybody can't sit in these seats.
Some days, I'm in total transparency. Some days we don't want to sit in these seats because you know how they say, "With too much is given, much is
required."
And sometimes, by the time we go through our day and we've talked to so many different students, we're not even worrying about the problems we have. We're trying to fix everybody else's problems to make sure it's good. We're like sometimes mentally drained before even leaving. It's like, okay, we gotta walk away right now because we can't take any more from a mental capacity standpoint. Like there's only so many strategy calls we can take per day for our mental. We've tested it. We did 5 a day. We did 6 a day. Like there's only a certain amount of strategy calls because everybody has a whole situation. And you have to be in the right mind space as a coach to be able to turn that, it's Tetris, to turn that piece so it can fit. Because when you're in your situation, you can't see through your situation. Right. Someone has to be able to look over and say, okay, behind that door is this, so don't go there. So add this and this, and then slide to the left, slide to the right, and you're good. But when you're in it, oh no, you can't see it. You can't see it. And that's why it's important for coaches to have coaches. So like when I bring Rowdy to Simple Sexy Flipping, it's not just because he's Rowdy, it's because I've paid Rowdy money to coach me. I've worked under Rowdy. Like I know with Rowdy, he's gonna lead me, he's gonna guide me. So anybody I bring around Rowdy, I can trust that he's gonna lead with giving. So I think when I bring Ramon is one of my coaches. When we have our times where we're like, we're stuck, sometimes God just sends Ramon to call us right at that time. And he'll just say, hey, don't give up, don't quit. I see you. Do this, do this, do this. We didn't even tell him what the issue was. Do this, do this, do this. I see you. Here's what you should start focusing on. Let's wipe away this. Let's do this. Like, your coaches have to have coaches because they can't see past their mess. Like, it's
a process.
It is.
It's a way of learning. It's a way of continued education. And once you get into that web of education, of information, of taking action, it becomes addictive.
I was thinking the same
It becomes
thing.
addictive. And you want more of it.
Yeah.
You want more of it. And it's not until you experience it at a high level and you see the results of it, you like, I've been trying to figure this out for this many
I've
years.
been spinning my wheels, and I just got there
And I
in
just
30
got there.
days.
And
got there in 60 days.
And let's take a 60-day window for Miss Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
She got cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
She got business funding.
Mm-hmm.
She converted her 401k to start making more money
Yeah.
in 60 days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that's what we call taking massive imperfect action.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. And the thing about it, at every step you could have made excuses. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this money, Mr. Dimar.
Too much
I don't want to
money.
move this money. I don't know what a Roth IRA. I don't know what self. Like there could have been so many
They asked me
excuses.
too many questions. I don't know the answer to them, so I just shut down. I've shut down this sometimes. I remember going to Alabama Power, and they were asking me questions, and I walked out, and all I had to do was get a water heater. Like, I don't know if it's gas. They told me to come here, so I came here. Like, I don't know. They told me I'm just following. I walked out. I could not take it. But like, you just gotta fight through that. Like, nobody knows all that stuff that's going through your head and your chest. Like, just fight through it.
Agree.
I'm sorry. Go.
All right. So at this point, we're 60 days in. Tell me about one or two of the deals you've done besides moving out of your house that you've done since being a part of the triple family.
All right. So the hotel that was used my Roth or my self-directed IRA. So did 45.
Okay, hold on. What's a hotel?
Okay, hotel. We found a property, or y'all.
So what's a hotel?
I was trying to get to the property. My mom was in the hospital, so I couldn't get to the property on that day, but got to Denmark. Okay, so hotel property needed to be the property. We got it fixed enough where we could sell it to another investor.
Okay.
So get it prepared enough to sell it to another investor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's usually one of those houses where nobody really wants. And what you do in a hotel is you take it from that stage where it looks like you should probably demolish it.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of demolishing it, because remember, all things can be fixed in a house because houses are built, you take it and you build that house back up to a state where another investor kind of sees a clean slate.
Mm-hmm.
They can see, okay, if I paint, if I add flooring, if I add this drywall, I can do this. But sometimes when half of the wall is coming down or the roof is coming down and those things aren't in place or the floors are caved in, it's hard for most investors to see the vision.
Mm-hmm.
So a hotel, not HOTEL, WHOLETAIL.
Don't ever ask me how to spell it.
But that's why I say it, because a lot of people, they'll go and Google hotel and they're looking at a 30-unit hotel. No.
Mm-hmm.
Hotel, WHOLETAIL, is when you take it from a terrible state and make it to an okay state, and then an investor come in. So it's basically a 3-step process at that phase.
Okay, now give me some numbers now behind this hotel.
Okay, so 20,000 for 25 for the property, 21 for the rehab. Sold it to another investor for 70.
Okay, so you said that quick. So there was a property purchased it for 25,000.
Yeah.
We put 21,000 in the rehab.
Yeah.
Where did this money come from?
Self-directed IRA. So
the one
The
that
one
was
that was
losing
losing
money.
money with losing money. Yeah.
Okay, so we purchased it, we rehabbed it,
Yeah.
and then we sold it for 70 what?
76?
No, 70.
$70,000. So whenever you hear us talk about becoming the bank,
Yeah.
that's the definition of becoming the bank for
Mhm.
us. When you can take money that's either not yours or that's not being used,
Mm-hmm.
invest it into something that you don't have to manage it. You don't have to see it through. You don't have to do any of the day-to-day operations and get a return on your money.
Yeah.
That's what we mean by coming to the bank. If you can do that, you can create so much wealth.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we think real estate is all about how we make money. You can create wealth by becoming the bank. All right. So I would say we did a 50-50 on this property.
Yeah.
Like Ms. Beasley said, everybody has roles.
Yeah.
So our role in this deal was find the property, manage the rehab. Ms. Beasley's role in this deal was to fund the project.
Yeah.
And we didn't say our role is more important than your role.
Because everybody's role is important.
Because everybody's role is important.
Yeah.
Her role isn't more important than our role. It was a 50-50 split. So we both made roughly $12,000 on a property that nobody wanted.
Nobody
wanted this property. And we provided winning opportunities for the young ladies who bought the house. That same house appraised for $210,000.
Wow. Yes. And I remember it was another student where they had an investor that was interested in it, and they just felt like, it's not worth it. Like, it's not gonna appraise so much. We can't do it. So when the Jennifers bought it and the appraisal came back in, it was like, it was more than what we thought it was gonna appraise for. So it's so important to don't shoot yourself before you even take the shot. Like, do it, because that could have been somebody else's blessing. But the fact that it was truly the Jennifers. Like,
totally agree. So I would definitely say that if you're around us enough, you hear enough of these podcasts, or you come to an event we have, we're going to always talk about 3 T's. There's time, there's talent, and there's treasure. Find the one you're good at and maximize it.
So when Beasley says know your role is probably one of those 3 T's. Something in those 3 T's is your role.
Yes. And understand there's always collaboration over competition. There isn't competition. There's always collaboration. There's always room to get money together.
And surrounding yourself around people who want to see you win. Like, a lot of times we're in these groups and everybody is envious of each other. Like, nobody wants to see each other win. And I think it's so good when you can partner with others and you want to see them win. I see Adrian said, that's my partner. Absolutely. Like, that's my girl. Like, they want to see each other win. We were at a closing together and I thought it was so ironic. I looked at this picture last night where their nails were done the exact same way and didn't even know it. Like, they were at the closing, they put their hands on the table and just lifted up like, girl, we got the design on the same thing, the same color. But people who want to see you win, people who want to like cheer you on the whole time. And you're cheering them on. Like, imagine what growth looks like when you got people rooting for you, you're rooting for them, and now y'all working together, and like, sky's the limit.
Sky is the limit.
Like,
And another thing is, using that same money, I was able to help somebody.
Ooh, talk about
that same money. So we came to the table a couple weeks ago, and one of our we're partners. We're gonna call each other partners, Jimmy, and we were able to. I used the same money. We used the same money, and we were able to get him his first deal. I was so excited. I was so excited. I mean, it just did me good that day. I was just excited for him, but I was excited that I was able to help.
Absolutely.
I was excited that I was able to help another one of the students, or my fellow student, what do we call each other? Partners, able to help them get his first deal. You know what I mean? Like, that's just exciting. Like, I was proud of that. Absolutely. He got his first deal because I was able to supply some of the money for his first deal. I was like, you know,
That's the type of people you want to be around.
Like that's
people
what
that
it's about.
genuinely get excited
Yeah.
about helping other people.
yeah.
Like those are the people you want to be connected to. Those are the people you want to be around. And if you don't have them type of people, start looking for them.
Start looking for them because they're
Start
out
looking
here,
for
they're around. I talked to one lady and she was like, this doesn't exist, is what she said. This type of experience that you're talking about doesn't exist. And I said, well, maybe it's the people you're around. I just encourage you to find it because it's what keeps us going. Like it's your win that keeps us
Yes.
going. It's Adrian wins that keep it. Like it's everybody wins that you guys don't know it. But in the times when we get in our pity party, God always gives us a student that has a win and that comes and tells us thank you, and we got to snap out of it. Like why we even do it? Yeah,
what we're doing is to help other people.
Yeah,
because it's and it's gonna sound weird for people who don't know it. Like this is not our desire.
No,
like,
we are introverts. We don't like. We have to recharge.
Like, this is not sitting in front of this camera doing this podcast. This is not who we are.
No.
But we understand that in order to reach the levels that we want to reach, we got to help more people.
Yeah.
And we got to help more people succeed. We got to help more people overcome their fears. We got to paint a picture that it can be done.
Amen.
Like with Miss Beasley, you can do it. Like over 50?
Yeah, I'm 55.
Over
55. I turned 55 December 2nd.
I want to tell you,
People tell my
we
age,
talking
I'm
about
over 55. I mean, and it's never too late to get in the game. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wasted so much time having pity parties about stuff that I had no control over. I just needed to get back up. You know, so when I fall down, I get back up real quick now. You know how people they fall and they don't want nobody to know they fell down. I fall down, but I get back up real quick.
You gotta get back up. That's important. Someone said this is encouraging. When I get out there, I would definitely find my village. Absolutely, find your village.
Find your village.
And don't people. Wait to find your village. Like find your village. Your village is around you. Pray about it.
Yeah.
God will open up some doors. He will put the right people in your place, and you'll be like how Beasley said. Things started happening in just a 15-day span. Like, okay, I prayed about it. This happened. This happened. It will happen. Just be open to it. Pray about it. Allow him to order your steps, and understand that he's going to show you, and you're probably not going to believe it.
Exactly.
And at that point, you have to tell him again. I need you to confirm. Because sometimes we have so much noise going on around us that we can't hear his calling, we can't hear his voice. And it takes us sometimes being by ourselves. When I was by myself, I was driving in the car with baby Antonio, and I just felt like I was getting punched in the gut. And God started talking to me. First time ever I've ever heard him talk to me. So it was like, what is this going on? But I knew it was him, because I had made myself available for him through fasting. And that was my first time fasting. Every time I've wanted to quit, every time I've wanted to go back to corporate America,
don't go back.
He told me no. He told me no.
You can't go back.
Or somebody would tell me how much I've helped them where I am. Or a door will open that's never supposed to open. Or Antonio will come to me and say, God told me this. And it's exactly what he told me. And I tried to push it back. Don't push it back. Because what happens when you push it back is he takes that opportunity away from you because he's giving it to you and you didn't want to follow it. So seize the opportunity, seize the moment, listen to him, listen to his calling. Yes, it may upset some people, but I promise you that he does things in such great order that we can't even do, where if you have to leave someone else, he's already warmed up their hearts and they understand it.
Ooh, good job, Ashley. Good job. We had some comments come in. I think we've seen that one.
We love you too, Adrian. Yes, because I was never interested in real estate. I've always been interested in helping people. So thank you for that, for this insight. You're
Yes.
welcome. Like, I'm not gonna say I was really interested in real estate. I was interested in corporate America.
Yeah.
I was interested in climbing to the top.
Yeah.
I was interested in being the first Black girl that can do, like, I've always seen corporate America in my eyes because my mom was in corporate America. So I've always had that corporate America. I want to dress up in my suit. I want to wear my heels until them heels start to hurt. You know, I've always wanted that. I wanted a team around me so that I can be a boss. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You know, one thing about corporate America people should understand is corporate America ain't fair. It's not fair. And I just remember, trying to find a job. I got laid off and I tried to find a job, and I had went on so many interviews. Like, I know I was a bomb. I knew I was a bomb because I had been in this thing for a long time, so I knew what I was talking about. I could manage a branch with my eyes closed. I could manage one, right? And I was trying all these jobs, and they didn't hire me, right? So I was like, what in the world is going on, Lord? And so, and people don't know AAA has the bank, right? Let me tell you the story about that, how that happened. When I was very discouraged and I had got depressed, and I was driving down a major highway in Michigan, and the Lord said to me, apply for AAA. And I was like, AAA don't have no bank. That's what I told the Lord. I said, AAA don't have no bank. And I was like, okay, let me go and apply for this job that the Lord talked about on the internet. So I went to AAA and I applied for this job that was like in the mortgage department. And so the guy called, a HR person called me 2 days later, and she was like, we want to know if you're interested in this job at AAA Bank. I was like, AAA don't have no bank. She said, yes, AAA does. Yeah. And I got actually hired. I got an interview with the HR person and got hired. Spoke to the VP of mortgage. I went into the interview. The day that I went into the interview, my lights went out. Yep. The day I went into the interview, my lights went out. So I had to go into the interview with no makeup on or whatever. Went to the interview and I knew the person that the CFO that was at the table. So when we got to the interview, she was like, oh, we don't need to answer that. 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 I'm like, okay. So called me a couple of days later, offered me the position, $55,000 a year. I was like, no. $55,000 a year. And then have to punch a clock. I have not punched a clock in years. I have been a manager. That entry, me doing that entry? Absolutely not. I said, and the Lord said, take the job. Wow. I was like, I took the job and $55,000 a year. And I was like, Lord, and I told the guy, he came to the office the day I got there, and he was like, oh, I was thinking, he said, I was praying that you took the job. And I was like, I ain't punching nobody's clock in about 8 years. I said, you mean I gotta punch the clock, like punch the clock when I get in and punch the clock when I get out? I didn't do that. I said, so I may forget sometimes. He's like, it's okay. So I ended up, doing data entry, and 8 months later, a position came available as the director. And I sent an intent letter to the CEO of the bank along with the guy who hired me. And I said, you think I should apply? He said, yeah, you should apply. And I was like, okay. Got a $30,000 increase in 9 months. $30,000. So I was making $85,000. And what if I wouldn't have took that job? What if you wouldn't have took it? 9 months later, I had to suffer through punching the clock for 9 months, but
you were faithful in those.
Yes, yeah. And then, like I said, I wanted to get in the $100,000 club, so I was like, Lord, I've been doing all this work for this company. I had been there maybe like 2 years at the time. Been doing a lot of work for them. A new manager came in, And I had been praying. I said, Lord, I really want to make $100,000 a year. I really do. I really want to make $100,000. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to my manager. I'm gonna tell him, you know what? I've been doing a lot, and this is what I've been doing. And I had spelled it all out. And so that was like January. And then he was like, okay, we're gonna look at it. February came. March came.
Review time.
April came. Nothing. He wasn't saying nothing to me. He called me to the office one day and he was like, Theressa, I got something for you. I was like, oh, okay. So he handed me this job, what you call it? The role.
Mm-hmm.
And on the top of it, it had a 61. I'm like, 61. He was like, yeah, you got a 9.9% increase. So with that increase, it was $10,000. So I was making, with that increase, it was, $10,000. So I had gotten a couple raises for this. So I was making over 100. I was like one over one. But it's still not fair because you're doing all that work and they're not paying you what you're worth. I know my job. I mean, I know it. I could do my job with my eyes closed. I mean, really. I don't have to do a lot to do my job. But they don't pay you, But God did all of that for me. And what he let me know is sky's the limit. You don't have to stay here and take this.
Yeah.
You don't. You don't have to stay here and take this. You want to stay here because you want to feel comfortable. You want a 9 to 5 to punch into. You want your benefits. You want this. You want everything to be secure. But when you're in God's hands,
I'm all you need for security. Because I am the source that provides the resources.
Yeah. So it's like we have to leverage what the promises that God has for us. We have to leverage those promises for ourselves and step out there on faith. Not on our own, but on faith. Because if we go by what we think and what we say or what we're going to fail every single time. But if you stand on the promises of God, it's going to, I've been in situations where it's just been me. I have not had nobody to take care of me, but every single bill has always been paid, So it's like those kind of things. So it's like, if I could step out there on that little thing that they do at the job or whatever, or definitely I could come into real estate and definitely I could come in to be an entrepreneur and step out here and do some things that I've never done before. Like you said, by invest in myself, by training. And of course I could do that.
Yeah.
And it's done me well. Done me well. I've done 2023 has been an extraordinary year for me, regardless of whatever's going on in my life. It's been extraordinary. I've done some things in 2023 that I never ever thought that would happen in my life. 2024 is going to be thebomb.com. We going. We going. We're gonna make some money in 2024. We're gonna make some money in 2024. We are making some money in 2024.
Absolutely.
So I got one last question, and I got two, but I'm gonna choose between one. All right. So you came to the conference in August.
Yes.
What was that experience like coming to the conference in August?
So it exceeded all of my expectations, definitely. But I came VIP.
Why did you come VIP?
Because I always because one of the things that my coach Ashley said, you gotta go VIP to everything. I go to VIP to everything. If I go to a concert, I'm going VIP. I went to VIP at a concert. I went to go see Jonathan McReynolds sat first on the front row. I went VIP. I saw him. I got to hug Jonathan McReynolds. And I was starstruck. I ain't never been starstruck. Never. I'm 55. What are you starstruck for? My cousin was like, you starstruck. I was like, so you gotta go VIP because you get to get close with the individuals. That's one of my mentorships that I was part of came out of VIP. And I'm doing funding now. I did some funding for myself that was telling Antonio and Ashley. I did some funding for myself a couple days ago. and I got approved for a $30,000 credit card on an age corporation. I'm going to call it an age corporation that I had back in Michigan. And I sort of restructured it and made it where I can do business here in Alabama. And $30,000 credit card, just like that.
Like
no,
that.
not just like this.
Yeah, just like that.
Because in the last, I would say, about 60 days, you've been learning more about it.
Yeah.
And that's not the only funding you got in
No.
those 60 days. So in total, of how much have you gotten
Since
in
the
those 60
143.
days since the 143?
Okay, so I got another $30,000 for Trinity 3 services. I got, I think it was 30,000, 2,000, 3,000. Trinity 3, yeah. 30,000, 22. Yeah. This other one's for the other business.
Hold on. So this is a part that you probably did not catch.
Yeah.
Understand that you can get business funding on multiple,
multiple
businesses. It's not over if you go get business funding in one business. That's not the end of the line.
Yeah.
Like you can go for 2, 3, 4, 5 different businesses. You just gotta understand what you're doing. Got to be around the right people
Yeah.
to help you navigate those waters.
So y'all may have not picked up what she said, but she went to the conference in August.
Yeah.
She was in VIP in the conference in August. And when she was in VIP, we had a VIP dinner after the conference.
Yes.
She sat at the table with one of the speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what she did, she had such a good conversation with the speaker, was she joined his mentorship too.
Yes.
Most people say, okay, I'm already in one mentorship. I done spent money. I done paid money. I'm not going to keep giving my money to mentors because they're not doing anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
The growth that you experience in 2023 probably exceeded the growth you had your entire life.
Exactly.
In just at that point, it was a 6-month time frame.
Yes.
Now we're in like a 9-month time frame.
Yes.
So now you know how to find a deal.
Yeah.
You know what a deal looks like.
Yeah.
You know, potentially if you want to rehab a deal, but you done told me you don't want a rehab deal. You want a partner when it comes to that part.
I'm a partner.
And you know how to find the bag.
Yeah, I know how to find a bag. And not only do I find a bag with the funding piece, but I've learned how to talk to people. So people want to invest. They're like, can I invest with you?
Yeah.
I got a doctor out in California. She wants to do a deal with me. You know, and I talked to her yesterday. She's so excited about, doing deals. And I said, okay, I'm gonna try to squeeze you into a deal this year.
Yeah.
Talk.
I told her I was gonna try to squeeze her into a deal this year, where she can make some money too.
Yeah. When I tell you money is all around you,
Mm-hmm.
God made her take that step back, that $55,000 step back, just to, for one, humble you.
Yes.
For 2, show you who's in charge.
Yes.
And for 3, let you realize that he's the source and he provides all the resources for you.
Amen.
Had you not taken that, which you felt like a disgrace, you felt like that was a disgrace, had you not taken that disgrace at that moment to really let his light shine, now there's money being thrown at you from all different directions.
My dad said, whatever. I mean, my dad, I think that I just want to show him that he can. I'm gonna start off really like small, not like small with him, like 65 or 70, somewhere around in there. But he actually told me whatever. He did. I called him and I said, how much are you willing to invest in a deal? And he was like, well, what's the deal? Whatever. And I was just like, really? Like, it's that easy?
Change your conversations, young people.
Change your conversation.
Hey, if you're not talking about money, you ain't talking about credit, you ain't talking about investing, you ain't talking about how to get better, you ain't having the right conversations.
Absolutely.
Every conversation you have need to be talking about investing, need to be talking about money, need to be talking about growing and building something substantial to help you and somebody else.
You cannot figure it out on your own, no matter how hard you try. I'm sure you've tried to figure it out on your own, but you really need help.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Adrian said, yeah, if you're not talking about any of those things, we won't have anything to talk about.
We got to talk about.
So coming to the conference, I think it was vital to my success, and being connected with other individuals that think and think the same way. You know, have the same mindset, talking the same way that I want to talk. You know, getting those nuggets, and you know what area, you know what interests me. You know what, like, where's my role? That's my goal. That, like, I've been trying to feel like where do I fit? I need to know where I fit so I can be the most successful in this game. You know, because I don't want to pass the ball and I pass the wrong ball. You know, I want to make sure that I'm passing it right. You know, working with the right people and playing the right game, and you know, I just want to be a help. You know, and I don't want them to be like, oh, Theressa, she ain't helped me. You know, I just want to. And coming to the conference, you'll learn. You just sort of try to feel through what where you need to be as a person in this game. You know.
So if you don't know, the conference is January 12th and 13th. Miss Beasley is going to be on the panel. Yep. So if you want to meet her, talk to her. She's also going to be in VIP. She already told y'all she ain't going the other way. So if you want to kind of have some conversations with her, and she's a great person to talk to.
Absolutely.
She's done so much in such a short amount of time. And in my opinion, I don't think no one has done as much as you've done in such a short amount of time. Like, it's kudos.
With everything going
on, like, you still like a caregiver, you still have a full-time job. Like, I just don't understand. It's amazing. So I can tell you kudos for those things. You didn't let the 9-to-5 stop you. You didn't let being a caretaker for mama stop you. You didn't let anything stop you from achieving the things that you want to achieve. And there's more to achieve.
Absolutely.
So keep going, keep doing what you're doing. 2024 gonna be the bomb.com.
Yes,
absolutely.
VIP
club. Yeah, like you have to get in the room, but then you got to get to the people who've already got their mindset shifted.
Yeah.
Like, that's what VIP is about. It's about getting to the people who've already accomplished more than what you even can imagine. Like, when Rowdy's in that room, when Nicole's in that room, when Ramon's in that room, like, oh my goodness, Darius, like, when you start getting around people, when you realize, man, that little obstacle I thought I had, they done told me over dinner how to run through it, jump over it, and just through dinner. So just imagine what can happen outside of dinner. Just imagine what can happen if I just continue to be in those VIP rooms, continue to follow through, because amazing things happen.
All right, let's go. We've held Miss Beasley way too long. So thank you from
Absolutely.
The Denmarks.
From the bottom of our heart.
Thank you.
Yes. I couldn't miss this. I knew it was gonna be a good one, y'all. I couldn't miss it. So I do want to say that if you want to reach out to Miss Beasley, you want to ask her some questions, what's the best way to get in contact with Miss Beasley?
I'm on Facebook.
Facebook. What's your name on Facebook?
Theressa Beasley. I changed it. It used to be Theressa, but I had to go to my real name because I want people to be able to find me. Okay. So it's Theressa Beasley.
Absolutely.
Reach out to her, ask her some questions, talk to her. She can help.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we love you guys. Thank you for joining us today. Peace.
What we forgot, Yasmin?
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Listen, it's Keith Everett, Real Estate Diddy. I'm right here at the Simple, Sexy Flipping Conference. I gave 10 ways on how to find off-market properties. If you're somebody trying to learn how to use the bank, find private money lenders, and knowing how you can fund the properties, you need to be here.
I would definitely recommend this event to anybody, especially if you're looking to get started in this business, because sometimes you just don't know where to go, and sometimes you don't know how to get started, and sometimes it could be the reverse. You got the motivation, but you don't have the education, or you have the education, you don't have the motivation. So sometimes it's being in certain rooms with certain people that'll kind of uplift you or inspire you or get you moving, get you thinking. But more importantly, this is the kind of room you want to be in, especially if you're a newbie.